Now let us look at show contextual tooltips. See, here is the option display show contextual tooltips. I'm just closing this dialog. As soon as I click on any of the values over here, there is a tooltip which is appearing based on my selection. See, this tooltip is showing that this is a sum of total value is 6163 and name of the salesperson is Kiran, under which category action, column is sum of total. If I select over here, it will show differently. Sum of quantity value is 376, row and salesperson, column, like this it is showing. This is called a screen tip or tooltip. Now how can we avoid showing this tooltip? Show contextual tooltips. If I uncheck this and click OK, as and when I click over here, now you can observe the tooltip is not showing anything. No tooltip is appearing. This is how we can off the feature of tooltips. Show contextual tooltips. Now click OK. If I keep my cursor, now a tooltip is appearing. Display fields, captions of and filter drop downs. So you are already seeing this one. Caption filter drop downs are displaying over here. If you uncheck this one, this will not be appear. See, these are disappeared. Click OK. These are appeared. Another important feature is classic pivot table layout. Say, if I want to add this field to the available fields, I can click on this check mark over here. I can click like this, or I can uncheck this one. In the same way, if I want to change the order of these row labels, I can go and change like this. Here I can change the order of row labels like this, like this. Say, I'm just unselecting this one. I want to do it in different way. If I select this one and click OK, I can directly drag and drop the fields from the field list to the pivot table. See, earlier when I click this one, it is adding over here. I am changing based on my requirement. Now my intention is to change or add the field directly to the pivot table by dragging and dropping. How can I do this? By this option we can do that. This option name is classic pivot table layout. Enables dragging of fields in the grid. So this option will enable you to drag the fields directly into the pivot table. So now I'm dragging customer field to grid directly. See, like this I'm able to drag this field. I can also drag like this. If I want to add here, I can add. If I want to delete from here, I can directly delete from here like this. See, I have deleted that field. Like this we can directly drag and drop the fields into grid. show the values row. So the first row is called values row. You can show the row or hide the row. If I click this check mark, click OK, it is showing this value row. Now if I don't want to see this value row, I can click on show the value row off and click OK. Now the value row is disappeared. Like this we can make use of that feature. Field list. How do you want to see your field list? Whether it is sorting A to Z order or sort in data source order. So hope you understand what is the data source order and what is the A to Z order. Please observe this field list over here. See, this is based on data source order, not based on A to Z order. If it is A to Z order, what will happen? See, select A to Z order, click OK. Now you can observe category, customer, date, ID, movie, quantity, sales person and total. It is sorted based on A to Z order. But if my intention is to sort the data based on data source order, it means in the data source, whatever the first column is there, that will comes first, whatever the second column, that will come second, so like so on. If I click OK, now it is sorted based on data source order. Where is our data source? Our data source is pivot table. This is my data source. Like this, under the data source, my first column is ID, date, customer, salesperson, movie, category, quantity and total. You can observe here, see, ID, date, customer, salesperson, movie name, category, quantity and total. This is sorted based on data source. You can either use data source sorting order or A to Z sorting order. Generally A to Z sorting order will helps you if you are working with the huge data. See, where you are unable to understand where exactly my field is, then you can make use of this A to Z sorting. Otherwise sort data source order can be helpful for you. Next, moving on to printing. If you observe, print, expand and collapse button when displayed on pivot table. These expand and collapse buttons can be printed on print. Say what I'm going to do is I'm collapsing entire field. When I use Control P, it means print. You can observe these expand and collapse buttons are not visible over here. However, you can see the expand and collapse options or collapse buttons over here. Expand and collapse buttons are available over here. If you want to print the same expand and collapse buttons on your print, you can make use of this one. Now let us see. See, these expand and collapse buttons are available while you are printing. Like this, you can use this function. I'm just unchecking this one. Next, set print titles. See, I'm expanding entire field. Now you can observe there is a page break between each and every row label. Now let us go to the next page. If you observe over here, see, please carefully observe the first page. In my first page I have titles, category, salesperson, sum, total, sum, quantity. Now if I go to the next page, titles are missing. It is started from row label. How can I print titles on each page? See, go to options, printing, click on set print titles, click OK. Now let us see. Let us go to next page. See, my titles are retained. Again let us go to next page. Yes, titles are there. Go to next page. Yes. So this is how we can print titles on each page. Clear? Okay. Now moving on to data. Save source data with file. Hope this I have already explained in the previous lessons. How can we make use of this source data? The meaning of this is whenever you are using an external data source, say if you are pulling data from an MX Access table or an SQL server or OLAP server, the system or the Excel will save a local data. It means the source data in local paths. So it will always keep a source data of your original data. Now if I don't want to use this option, if I uncheck this one, it will not keep your source data. It will not save your source data. What is the difference? How can it differentiate? How can this feature affect my performance of pivot table functions and options? Say if you are working with a huge number of data, it will take enormous space in your drive to save the data. Hence it would be ideal if you are dealing with huge data, you can click this save source data option, uncheck. If you uncheck this one, now it will not save. Make sure and do understand this feature will only applicable when you are copying the data or when you are pulling the data from MS Access. When you are pulling directly from MS Access, it will keep a source data file. Enable show details. So hope everyone know this one, drill down feature. What is the drill down feature? If I double click on this 3772, this will take me to the value from where it has been derived. I am double click on this one. See, when I double click on that value, it is taking me to the original rows and columns where that values have been derived. Now I am going over here, going to options, data, enable show details. If I uncheck this one and click OK, I am trying to double click on this one. Now you cannot navigate to the drill down feature. Now your drill down feature is disabled because you have unchecked show details option. So if anyone observed that even though if you double click on the pivot table values, if you are unable to drill down, maybe the issue is that it is been disabled like this. Now another feature is refresh data when opening the file. You can refresh your data as and when you are opening the file. You can save this file. As and when you are opening the file, this data will be refreshed. It is